Hi, third grade. We're here with a new phonics and spelling lesson. Today, we're going to learn all about inflectional endings, ed, ing, and s. Inflectional endings are letters at the end of a word that change the word's meaning. Does that definition sound familiar? If it does, you might be thinking of a suffix. An inflectional ending is a type of a suffix. The inflectional endings that we're learning about today, ed, ing, and s, all have to do with verbs. A verb is an action. It's something you do. Examples of verbs, things that you do, are teach, read, and bake. Before we start learning about our spelling words with these inflectional endings, let's review the three main types of verb tenses. Verb tenses tell us when an action is taking place. There are three main verb tenses: past, present, and future. If something takes place in the past, that is an action that already took place. It already happened, it's done. When an action is past tense, you usually will add the inflectional ending ed to the end of the verb. This example sentence uses the inflectional ending ed. It says, "The cat jumped onto the bed." As a side note, we should mention some verbs are irregular, and instead of adding ed, the whole word changes. For example, go becomes went, tell becomes told. Next, we have present tense. If something is in present tense, it is an action that is happening right now. For example, right now you are watching this video. For present tense, we can use the inflectional endings s or ing. We use the base form of the verb and add s for singular nouns, pronouns. Our two examples are we walk, he walks. If the word uses ing instead of s, that is called present progressive. For ongoing actions, we use the correct form of the verb to be and add ing to the base of the verb. This is our example. We are walking. So for present tense, you can use an s or ing. He walks, we are walking. The third type of verb tense is future tense. If something is in future tense, it is an action that is going to happen. For something that's going to happen in the future, you add the word will in front of the base of the verb. Here's our example. They will talk later. Tomorrow, I will read a book. I can also use some context clues to know that this is happening in the future by looking at the words later and tomorrow. Those are other words that help me to realize that this action has not happened yet. For this week's spelling list, we will be focusing on words that are in past tense using the inflectional ending ed and words that are in present tense using the inflectional ending s and ing. There are three spelling rules that help us use inflectional endings. The first rule, and the easiest, is when there is no change to the word. You're just adding the ending. We use this rule when a word ends in a VCC, vowel consonant consonant, pattern. Just add the ending. Here are some examples. The base word jump can become jumping, jumped, jumps. The base word laugh can become laughing, laughed, laughs. And the base word miss becomes missing, missed, misses. All you had to do was stick the ending onto the base word. Now, there are two other rules that we need to learn to help us use these inflectional endings. With one of these rules, we have to drop the E at the end of a word before adding the inflectional ending. And for the other rule, we might need to double up the consonant depending on the spelling pattern. Let's take a look at some of our spelling words to help us learn these two spelling rules. Here are three of our spelling words: danced, dancing, dances. These three spelling words use the spelling rule called drop the E. When a word ends in a silent E pattern, drop the E and add the ending. So our three spelling words are from the base word dance. Ballet is a type of dance. When we say this word, we do not hear the E at the end. That makes this a silent E. According to our spelling rule, when we add the inflectional endings ed, ing, and s, we have to remove the silent sneaky E before adding them onto the word. Let's take a look at the ed example. The ballerina danced in yesterday's talent show. Do you notice how we don't have two E's here? Because we removed the silent sneaky E before adding the inflectional ending ed. Now let's look at adding the inflectional ending ing. Dancing. The ballerina is dancing. Do you notice again how there's no E in this word? Because according to the rule, we remove the silent sneaky E before adding the inflectional ending. Now we have the word dances. The ballerina dances beautifully. Now, when adding the inflectional ending S to a verb, you can think of it two ways. The first way you can think of it is that you've removed the silent sneaky E and you've added ES as your inflectional ending to make the word dances. The second way of thinking of this is that you're leaving the base word with the silent E intact, and then you're just adding the S to the end. Either way of thinking works. You just want to make sure that you're not putting two E's next to each other when adding the inflectional ending. Now let's take a look at some more words using another inflectional ending spelling rule. These spelling words are dropped, dropping, drops. Each of these words come from the verb drop. Don't drop the ball like this guy did. With this inflectional ending spelling rule, if a word ends in a VC, vowel consonant pattern, you need to double the consonant before the inflectional ending. Like this word, dropped. The man dropped the ball. The consonant has been doubled and then the inflectional ending ed was added. For the word dropping, again, the consonant has been doubled and the inflectional ending has been added, ing. The man keeps dropping the ball. This word is drops. The man drops the ball. Just like we saw with our last spelling rule, adding inflectional ending s kind of follows its own rule. Here, we're just adding s at the end of the base word. Now let's take a look at the rest of our spelling words. As I read each of these words, I will highlight the inflectional ending. Repeat each word after me. Names, named, naming, hopes, hoped, hoping, dances, danced, dancing, drops, dropped, dropping, wraps, wrapped, wrapping. And for our two challenge words, driving, traded. Do you notice how in the words dropped, dropping, wrapped, wrapping all double up the consonant when you add the inflectional ending? Remember, that's because the base word ends in a vowel consonant. Now let's hop on over to Wonders to check out one of the inflectional ending spelling games we have this week. For this game, you will sort the spelling words into the columns using the keywords or word parts. You can see that we have 6 groups. For the first 3 groups, we'll follow the spelling rule where you remove the silent sneaky E and add the inflectional ending. For these 3 groups, we will follow the rule where we double the consonant and add the inflectional ending if the base word ends in a vowel consonant. Let's start sorting. Races, hugging, dropped, hoped, hopes, hoping, racing, drops, hugs, hugged, dropping, raced. Let's check our work.
Fantastic!
All right, boys and girls, that's our lesson on inflectional endings using ed, ing, and s. Thanks for watching and learning with me today. Bye for now.